an honor to join all of you today, Ben. I've been following you and I admire your business and what you've created and what you're pouring into others. So thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you.
Okay, so I thought I wanted to talk about a little bit about the lessons I've learned with John Maxwell and spending time with John Maxwell and Gary Keller. Is that okay?
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay, especially when we are now we're in this really changed dynamic real estate market. So for us, you can either panic and say this is the worst market ever, or you can say, you know what, this is a market of opportunity. It's how you frame it and how we frame it to our clients, because it truly is a market of opportunity, right? People who couldn't get into the market before now finally have the opportunity to get in. And also we've been hearing it over and over again that it is a skills-based business, right? So it's no longer easy. So the last few years we've been chasing, we've just been serving. Business has been coming to us, we've just been serving. But now we have an opportunity to truly consult. So what are our consulting skills for our clients so that they could really make the best decisions of their lives, right? These are sometimes the largest decisions, largest investments in their lives. So for somebody who has been through the market, I've been in the market for about 20 years now. So for those who don't know, I lead a team. I'm still in production. I'm the lead listing agent here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We have a team of 9. So I'm the lead listing agent still. I have a full-time agent, Kyle Rawls, who works with me. We just hired somebody new. So we've got 3 agents that are in production and the rest are support. The reason why we have such a support team is that the support team is your standard, right? If you are hiring, if you're growing your team, agents can come and go. It's attrition, it happens. But what your standards have to be maintained. So invest your time in hiring the best of the best in operations to maintain the standard you want to provide your clients. So we have a director of operations, we have a director of marketing, we have a director of homes and designs because we transform homes before we sell it. We have a client concierge to make sure we keep the promise to our clients to deliver an unbelievable experience. We have a direct marketing coordinator. And we have my own EA because I don't know what day it is sometimes. So she keeps me in line. So her name's Jermarie. And so it's been 20 years. I've been through the 2008, we launched a 10-unit townhome project the week the market crashed in October 2008, right? In 2008, the week before, these condos were priced at over $1 million. The week after, they were priced in the 800 to 900s. So things happen. So business happens, life happens. I've been through a child with depression who didn't want to be here anymore. She's great now. I've been through somebody who embezzled from me $50,000. I've been through expansion. I've been through retraction. I've been through everything. And what I learned from John Maxwell and Gary Keller is that you can choose to be victim or victor. It's your choice. A lot of times you can't choose what happens to you. However, you can choose how to respond to it, right? It's your choice. And through tough times create tough people, right? Tough times create tough people. And it is your choice to be victim or victor. And the key word is choice. Being human, being on this earth, having choice is the greatest gift. And often you're just one decision away from the life you want. So in learning from so many top performers and that I've been watching and leaders in business and learning from Gary, there are 5 things I find in common. So this is not from Gary, it's just what I synthesized from learning is number 1, people are extremely clear in their why, extremely clear in the why. And it's not just, I want to sell $10 million or $20 million in real estate this year. Why do you want to do it? Right? So if you have trouble of finding your why, I highly recommend that you write this letter to yourself. So a few years ago, we were in Austin. There was just 20 of us. It was kind of this exploratory group. And they had us write a 10-year letter. Write the letter as if 10 years has already happened. All right? And answer these questions. All right. How old are you? How old is your partner or your spouse if you have one? How old are your children if you have any? How old are your parents? That one got me. That one got me. My parents would have been their mid-90s. What are you learning? What are you teaching? Who have you forgiven? Who have you asked forgiveness from? That was huge. They asked, what is one thing that you've always wanted to do, was scared to do, but you did anyway? Right? What does your life look like right now? Your personal life look like right now? And the question could go on. And Ben, I can send you the list of questions and you can share with the group. And after I wrote that, there's a room of 20 people, and these are top producers in the company. And some of them are like manly men. And we're all crying because it really refocused our why. A lot of it used to be build a big business and sell the business. It became our family and the experiences we provide for our loved ones. So if you have trouble finding your why, I highly recommend starting with that exercise. They're extremely clear. So when I came back from that weekend in Austin, I changed my entire GPS and became highly focused. So now when the sparkly things start flying around my head and the squirrels come running around, I say, this is take me closer or farther from my why, right? If it's farther from my, oh, I just raised my hand. If it's farther from my why, then I don't do it. And that's something that Gary taught me. He was very focused on his priorities. And if anything that comes on his plate that takes him away from his priorities, he doesn't do it. So clarity in why. Number 2, extreme clarity in their values. All right. Your mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. Who has one written for themselves? Right. So Keller Williams, Mo Anderson taught us our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. These are the rules we live by. All right. This is how we are going to conduct our business. So this is what our clients can expect from us. And on the flip side, this is what we should expect from our clients. All right. How is your MVVP? Your mission, your vision, your values, beliefs, and perspectives. This became so clear. Mo Anderson, I had the honor of Mo Anderson coaching me on this. So when I first joined Keller Williams, I was on the big screen as a head turner. And after I was at an event with her and I said, hello, Ms. Anderson, I just want to thank you. Culture is one of the reasons why I joined Keller Williams. And she grabbed my face. She goes, I know you were on the screen. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she goes, I want to know all about you. And she gave me her email and she said, email me. And I went, oh my gosh. So that night we were at a family reunion. And I think, what do you tell Mo Anderson about yourself, right? What do you tell her? So I sent her my MVVP. The next day, we're still at family reunion. She emails me back and says, I need to coach you on this. So it was that bad. No, anyway, so what she told me, she goes, this is a living covenant. All right. You measure all your decisions on this. So it became so clear and so embedded in the culture of our team that we had a $20 million client, this chair of a major global consulting company, and we were selling this house. And he treated us so poorly, treated my team members so poorly, our team members so poorly, that I decided to fire him because he didn't match our MVVP. Had I not been clear, I would have chased that paycheck and chased and done whatever I could to save it. But I let him go, and the team was 100% on board. And then, so when I resigned respectfully that he didn't match our MVVP, the attorneys called and asked us to come back on board. And when I explained why, do you know what? He behaved so well. He's like one of our top clients and referrers. So how clear is your values? Okay. Clarity of values, and it makes business easier.
It does. And we teach them.
Absolutely. 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 Then we have, are we just letting life get there? And to know how to get there, we have to have a very realistic view of where we are now. We need to hold a mirror to our business right now. And what I would suggest is doing a SWOT analysis. So who's heard of a SWOT analysis? Awesome. Hi, Greg. Great to see you. SWOT
Good to see you as
analysis.
well.
Yeah. It is the most helpful tool you will ever have. Our kids do it, our family does it for personal goal setting, and we never set our team advance GPS until we do a SWOT analysis. It's the two most important lines you will ever draw. So on a piece of paper, you draw this line and you draw this line. It's 2 lines. So you have 4 quadrants. So on this quadrant is your strengths. All right. So analyze this last year. What has worked? What have you crushed? What has generated ROI for you? Right. And over here is your weakness, right? Weakness. What don't you do well? Maybe it's your taxes. Maybe it's the taxes stress you out. Maybe it is, you know what? I'm not great at marketing. I need help. And I spend 5 hours on one paragraph. Maybe that's not the best use of the time. So what's your weakness? What are your opportunities? So this quadrant is your opportunities, right? Opportunities could be like, all right, this neighborhood I've always wanted to be in, this dominant agent is now retiring. All right. Do you see opportunity? I do. There's an opportunity for a golden handoff. There's an opportunity to blanket and get into that neighborhood. So what are your opportunities around you? What are your opportunities in your business and outside of your business? And then over here is your threats. All right. So threats could be internal or external. An internal threat could be maybe somebody's out of culture and is really affecting the rest of your team members. Maybe it is the market, right? That's an external threat. The interest rates, all right? A lot of buyers on pause. So when buyers on pause, there are other opportunities, right? And then a threat could be maybe somebody's on your tail for one of the neighborhoods you want to be in, right? So really identify the threats. That piece of paper or board, whatever you do your SWOT analysis on, is one of the most important documents you'll ever have. So from this, what do you do? All right, great brainstorming session. Yes, I look in the mirror. Now what? What do I do with it? Well, use it to plan your strategy for next year. So for your strength, circle 3 things that you've done really, really well that move the needle in your business. Not that you do well, but actually move the needle in your business. All right. So circle those 3 things and generate an ROI, move the needle in your business, and double down on that next year because it's working. If it's working, don't change it. Right. So is there anything else on that strengths list that if you were to focus on it a little bit more, could move your business even further? So that's what you do for your strengths. Then you look at your weaknesses. Okay. So when we looked, or I look at my list, I'm like, well, there's a lot there. Well, then when I look at it, I say, okay, what are the top 2 or 3 things that if I address today could change my business tomorrow? Right. So if I'm not great at marketing, what am I going to do? I need to leverage it out. It's not the best use of my time. Right. So if I am not responding to emails in time and I'm losing clients because of that, then what needs to happen for me to build a system around response? Right. So what are the top 3 things that if you were addressed today and found a solution to them could move your business forward? And you do that for opportunities, and you do that for threats. And that's all you focus on. That becomes your GPS. Is this making sense?
All day, every day.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
So I'm hacking the planning process for you. is that SWOT analysis can tell you everything, because in order to get to where you want to go, you have to know where to start, right? So know where you start. Don't be afraid. You know what? When I first started this, my weakness list was much longer than my strengths. And that's okay, right? So extreme clarity in your why, extreme clarity in your values and how you're going to conduct yourself and expect others to conduct business with you. That's basically know who you are, know your values, extreme clarity in your plan and your goal, and extreme focus on execution. with precision and excellence. And that really means holding yourself accountable. Right. And so how do you focus on execution persistence? Because a year is a long time, right? So if you say, gosh, I want to get all my marketing in place end of next year, that's great. Sometimes if you're not precise in your execution and put in a time-bound method of doing it, you may look up next year, it's November, and you still haven't done it, right? So break your year into 12-week sprints. So who has heard of the 12-week year? It is phenomenal, right? So it's 12-week sprints, 12-week sprints, 12-week sprints. And by the time you look, you're like, I've done it, right? In a series of 4 12-week sprints. So find a way to focus on your execution with persistence. And one word I want to gift you is resilience, right? We have to be resilient. You have to be resilient. Number 5 is protecting your mindset. Extreme focus in protecting your mindset. Be careful what you let in. Be careful what you let in. Be careful what you listen to. And oftentimes, our loved ones that love us the most are the ones who want to protect us and keep us away from pain, right? So I remember when I first started real estate and it got hard, and it was 2008. And my mom said, don't do it. Just leave. Go find a job, at a government office or something like that. And I could have listened to her and give in, and I chose not to. And I was like, you know what? She loves me. She's trying to protect me. I'll acknowledge that, but I'm not going to listen to it. So extreme focus on protecting your mindset also depends on who you surround yourself with. Who do you listen to, right? Who are your mentors? And one of the key points of protecting your mindset is having a coach. If you're not in coaching, find a mentor, find a productivity coach, find somebody who can pour into you and help you kind of see things from a satellite level, right? So I call my coach my drone. He's ahead of me when he needs to, behind me, around me, underneath me, all of that, in order to kind of keep me on track for my plan and execution persistence. So that's really the 5 things I've learned in observing really high achievers, living through some adversity, and being around people like Gary or John Maxwell.
Well, I think the point here is, again, who's in your world matters for sure, right? For me, like you, I think traveling to Austin next month, traveling to Arizona in a couple of weeks, it's important for me to put myself in that environment around other big thinkers. Because I learn and I grow, and I've grown from the 20 minutes that we've been here today. And I would say that if you're sitting on this call today and you haven't picked up something, I say it all the time, then that's a you problem. So I love the fact that you've been very clear. And I heard with my notes time and time again, it's about clarity. And I loved execution, but not just execution, precision.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down, and you can't see it, but I wrote it down, highlighted it. I think precision is sometimes what we miss. We all understand execution, but precision and resilience are important in that equation also. So I'm so glad that you shared that with
Thank
us.
you. Thank you. Because you can execute, but it's not what you envisioned. And if it's not where you want it to be,
right,
then is it really execution?
No. And I think right now we all understand that in the craziness or the wonkiness of this market that we find ourselves in right now, we need to be very clear.
Yes.
And stay consistent with what is working. And again, you said, I mean, the top 3 opportunities and also the top 3 threats that might be challenging our mindset. One thing I say here all the time is eagles fly with eagles. And I think it's even more important now than ever before. So if you're if your environment doesn't match, I'd say, your opportunities, then you need to change the environment, right? Change
Yeah,
the room that you're in,
that's
change the
right.
group you're part of. Sometimes it's change the company that you're part of because they're not taking you to where you need to go. So, and again, that's not a recruiting pitch by any stretch, right? But I think right now that's just protecting your mindset, your values, your family, your finances, everything. So,
Everything. You know, this next year is going to determine your career trajectory, right?
amen.
And going back to not recruiting, I'm not recruiting, but I'll tell you my story. So I was in business for 11 years with another brokerage. I was top 1 to 3% in the world for this brokerage. I was by myself. I was my marketing person. I was my own TC. All my business was referrals only, and I took it very personally, raising 2 children. And then I had a heart attack. This is my early 40s. I had a heart attack. I
Mm.
was out. And so for 3 months, I took a personal leave, a health leave. I came back, and the VP of this brokerage came to see me. Caroline, what do you need? Whatever you want, we'll take care of you. And I said, I need to learn how to scale my business because my only goal is to watch my children walk down the aisle. I just want to live long enough while having this career and watch my children walk down the aisle. And this is what he said. He said, just work smarter, not harder. And I thought, I just almost gave my life for this logo here behind the wall. And you just telling me, so, okay, great. How do I do it? And he's like, you'll figure it out. And I went, what? And so for the longest time, my mentor who had come to Keller Williams said, you have to come to this business planning clinic. So I went in with my arms crossed. So if you haven't attended a business planning clinic, this is the ideal time to go. And it was taught by Dick Dillingham. And I sat in the back of the room in the corner with my arms crossed and like, you're not going to recruit me. I'm just here to check it out. And within 15 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, I was fully engaged, pages of notes, and said, this is the environment I need to be in. Exactly what you said, Ben, is if it's not working, what's your environment that you need to be in order for it to work?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you're waiting to make a change in your personal life, in your health, in your wealth, in your business, something I heard in February, maybe some of you were in there, Ryan Holiday this past February at Family Reunion, he said this: procrastination is arrogance because you assume there's a tomorrow. That hit me really, really hard. So not just in business, but also personal.
Right.
So who are the key relationships that you need to really pay attention to? Because tomorrow's not given, right? It's not guaranteed. So this is something I live by because I realized in my 10-year letter, that was 3 years ago. I've got 7 years left to execute on this 10-year plan. So procrastination is arrogance. You assume there's a tomorrow. So then a lot of us are now burnt out, right? When you have burnout, it's because the activities that you're doing is not aligning with your goal or your mission or your why. So your why may have been you established your why 5 years ago, and your why might have changed because life happens, right? So that's why going back to your big why is the number one. Because if you're doing the same activities you're doing 5 years ago, it's no longer feeling great. Maybe it's because your why changed. And that's where burnout happens, is what you're doing is no longer giving you joy. So just trying to do a gut check on burnout and why you might be feeling that way. And so the question we had with John Maxwell was, all right, John, I've got a million things I need to execute and do with precision and resilience. Like, how do I decide what to do? And so this is what he said to me. He said, you have to make decisions. You have to learn where to invest your time, not spend your time, right? Where are you going to invest your time? In your relationships and in your business? Number one, there's 3 things. Number one, what is required of me? What is and I quote him, shut up and do it, must do's. What is the realistic assessment of your priorities that must be required of you as a partner, a wife, spouse, parent, business owner, leader? What's required of you? What must you do that you cannot delegate to anyone else? Number two, you look at what's going to give me the greatest return, right? What is the activity or meeting that you need to take that's going to generate a higher yield if you were to spend time elsewhere, right? Focus on the choices of high ROI. And then number three is what gives me the greatest reward. Not only doing what you must do, not only what you must do to be highly productive to have ROI, what must you do to be content? And it has to be asked in that order. Because some people might say, I'm just going to do what's going to give me the greatest reward and joy, right? Ignore everything else. So he said that's the way he makes decisions on who is in his calendar. And as Gary says, show me a calendar and I'll tell you what your goals are. Right? So does your calendar match the goals that you set for yourself and your families? And that's how you choose.